What's up, everybody? We are live. We are live. We are live. We are live. Fix my clothes up in here. It's cold up in this house. We are live in effect, y'all. We are live. We got some news ready to pop off for you guys. Trying to make sure I get my screen ready so you guys can see it. Ready for all you guys to jump in. Ready for all you guys to jump in. What's going on? Hey, boo. Good evening. Hello, 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 hello. Yes, we are doing a live, and I'm going to be doing a lot more lives now that a lot of us will be in the house for quite some time, which is not a bad thing. It's not going to be a negative. This is going to be a whole positive situation that we got going on. We're going to make it positive. We're going to do some fun things on this channel, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But first, we got some news to attend to. But before we do that, I want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to get into the room. Y'all, I'm about to go and drink my tea. So many of y'all had questions about this tea. I will put the link directly to this tea down in the description below. As you guys know, I told you earlier, it prevents bloating. It has got CBD in it, so you feel good and relaxed. It helps you lose weight. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and get you some down below. Y'all ain't doing nothing else. Gym clothes. How else you gonna lose weight? Get these summer bodies going. You know what I'm saying? Get these summer bodies going. All you got to do is get you some of the tea package, stir it on up. We just waiting for a couple more people to get up into the room. Ashley, I do try to reply to my text messages, but I'll be replying to it's almost at this point about 700 people. It is very difficult, but I try my hardest, y'all. I try to send individual text messages, so that's why it may take me a little bit of time, but definitely don't worry. So I want to go ahead and talk about what we got to talk about today, because Miss Lenithia Leakes did a nice little live in response to this past Sunday's episode. And you know, I always wait for Nene Leakes to go ahead and do her live the same way that KANDI does her speak on it. You know what I'm saying? Now, I will admit, KANDI's speak on it is typically a little bit better produced, because I believe she has Jamie, her intern, or whomever, her marketing person, the one that Porsha had to beat down that time, to do her video content, which is amazing, because honestly, if I could hire somebody to edit my videos, I would definitely do so. But I have a problem with relinquishing responsibilities, because I like to do things myself. You know what I'm saying? So I be doing these edits myself, and I feel like nobody can do it faster than I can actually do it, because I like to give y'all the news, put it out there as fast as I possibly can, so y'all have it and we can keep things popping. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to go ahead and discuss Nene from Phaedra. We're going to get into exactly what she said. I want to thank you guys for so much for stopping through here tonight for this live. As I stated before, we will be doing more lives. You guys can see the subject matter at hand that we're going to be talking about. If Phaedra, she will be leaving the show should Miss Phaedra Parks decide to come back on the show. She has already said that. Well, according to Nene Leakes, she said this. She said that Phaedra should be able to come back to the show. Hold on, give me 1 second. She said that Phaedra should be able to come back to the show because KANDI actually likes when Kenya Moore and Nene Leakes go at it, but she doesn't want to have to go at it with anybody like the Phaedra. You know what I'm saying? And as you guys know, Phaedra is the person that was really giving it to KANDI the most. Now, granted, I understand what most people will say, that what Phaedra did was definitely serious. But to me, honestly, at this point in time, KANDI has turned that whole situation into such a positive thing. She done made a whole dungeon tour out of this whole situation. She, as Mama Joyce said, she took lemons and she done made a lemonade stand. You know what I'm saying? She has made this whole dungeon situation very, very profitable. So at the end of the day, I feel like let it go. Let it go, Elsa. We don't have to keep holding on to this whole situation anymore. In Nene's opinion, KANDI needs to stop running from Phaedra. She says that Phaedra brought a lot to the show, and the show would be performing much better if Phaedra was back. Now, I want you guys to go ahead and stop right there. Stop right there. Let me know your opinion. Do you feel like Real Housewives of Atlanta would be better if Phaedra was back in the mix? Go ahead, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about that. I am interested interested in hearing what you guys have to say, because I see a lot of people saying bring Phaedra back, and I for one am here for that. And let me tell you guys why. Phaedra Parks delivers some of the most epic moments on this particular franchise. She has quite a voice and she is well spoken. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like she is somebody that definitely needs to come back, because to me, this is the way things are actually headed. This is feeling very reminiscent of season 7 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, where you guys may remember where you had Nene, Porsha, and Phaedra on one couch, and then you had Kenya, Cynthia, and Kandi on the other. Comment down below if you guys remember that season 7. Oh, and then Claudia Jordan was sitting there on the end, if you guys will remember correctly, okay? Now, Nene also believes that Kandi enjoys seeing her go back and forth with Kenya more, but refuses to go toe-to-toe with Phaedra on Real Housewives of Atlanta. And Nene thinks that this is very hypocritical of Kandi. She's also said it's hypocritical for Kandi to tell the other women not to drag Kenya for her strained marriage when Kenya has been critical of everyone else's marriages. She said that Kenya dragged Porsha, Phaedra, Kim Fields, all of them about their marriages. She said that Kim Fields' husband was gay, if you guys will remember that. She even called Porsha Cordell's beard, okay? And Nene also accused oh yeah, that was it. And then she also has things to say about Christopher Williams' marriage. You guys remember when Christopher Williams was on the show with that girl Natalie? Remember Natalie had all that tea about Todd back in the day? You guys remember that? That made for some interesting stuff, okay? And as far as Kenya's threats about the reunion, you guys may have seen me post about that as well, where Kenya is basically saying that she will be bringing all sorts of receipts on Porsha to the reunion. Well, Nene Leakes is like, girl, bring them, because she is determined to read Kenya every opportunity she gets. And Nene is also promising that this reunion, whenever it occurs, will also be quite epic, because she is coming ready as well. So she's basically saying she's going to be sitting there with popcorn, because she's waiting to find out what type of alliance the ladies have formed, allegedly, wherein Porsha was supposedly the ringleader, according to Kandi and Kenya, with trying to ice Nene out. And Nene is trying to figure out why the ladies are season after season trying to ice her out. Now, you guys comment Kenya and Porsha, and maybe even, well, Kenya and Kandi, and maybe even Porsha were trying to ice Nene out of this season. And if you guys think that that is what you actually want to see, comment down below if you think that they are the ones that have the alliance, okay? I want to know what you guys think about that. Now, we also have a couple of other notes from Nene as well. She feels like Kandi is always against her for some reason. She feels like they had their beef a couple of seasons ago, where they had their we see each other, but ever since then, she feels like she had Kandi's back when the whole situation with Phaedra and Porsha came up with the whole dungeon. She said she had her back. She spoke out on that situation. She called it wrong. She even went at it with Porsha over Kandi when they were in San Francisco. I don't know if you guys may remember that. So she's just trying to figure out for the life of her why Kandi never seems to be able to have her back, and why Kandi and Kenya seem to have such an issue with her making up organically with Porsha, okay? Porsha and her making up, okay? Now, another good point that she actually made in the video, if you guys watch it, and once I'm done with this live, I'll put that in the description link below, because I want you guys to be able to go back and watch that in its entirety, because it's very informative. And quite frankly, I understand that there are a lot of Kenya Moore fans out there who actually, you know, really go hard for her. I don't understand why Kenya Moore doesn't do these types of sort of speak on it, or lives, or whatever you want to call it, after the videos or after the shows are done. Because when Mariah and Dr. Heavenly do them, and Nene, and when Kandi do them, it provides a lot of clarity on what the ladies actually think with regards to the way the episodes go down. You understand what I'm saying? And actually make it mandatory, but again, it's their own YouTube pages, so they are the ones who are in control of that, and it may not even be in their contracts that they can do it or not. And the next thing I want to talk about is the fact that this is something that Nene pointed out that Cynthia said. Nene said that Cynthia said that she wasn't going to go too hard at Kenya and that she was going to give Kenya a pass because Kenya was going through something in her marriage, okay? Now, Nene's question for basically for her audiences was this. Why wasn't Cynthia willing to do the same thing for Nene last year when Nene was going through her situation with Greg where he was diagnosed with cancer, had to have 4 surgeries and all of that? Why did she not go as hard? Why did she not give her a pass the same way that she is giving Kenya plenty of passes? Well, and I'm gonna, and to be fair, I'm gonna respond to that myself, and I'm gonna say this. I feel in my spirit as though Cynthia was on the defense with Nene last year, meaning she came into the reunion. I genuinely feel like she came into the reunion wanting to explain herself. The problem with that situation was that the camera people had gotten that whole audio of her with Mike basically saying she's not supposed to know that Kenya was supposed to come. And then the secret audio or the leaked audio with her calling Kandi saying that they needed to be on the same page with regards to how Kenya got to the event. So Cynthia just looked a little shady, but in my mind, Cynthia really wasn't shady. I feel like she was fearful, okay? She was fearful of Nene reacting to her hiding the fact that she knew Kenya was coming to the event. That is honestly my opinion. I stand by that to this day. Now, going back to my original question, do you guys think that it is hypocritical of Kandi to want or to sort of almost enjoy seeing or taking Kenya's side in this whole situation with Nene, but yet running from the possibility of Phaedra coming back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta because in Nene's opinion, she feels like Phaedra coming back on the show would make the show even better. I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with that? I'm going to be for real with you. I personally think that Phaedra should definitely come back to the show. I would love to see her come back to the show, but I would also like to see a new person come onto the show as well. Someone who can really actually bring it. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like what we're doing right now is we're kind of circling the drain. And to be very honest with you, if we continue to see this whole cycle play out next season, I, for one, as a viewer, might be a little bit bored. I'm going to need to see some new elements with the drama as it occurs on this particular show. Because at the end of the day, I feel like how many more times can we see Kenya and Nene argue before we're all over it? You understand what I'm saying? Does that make any sense to y'all? And I feel like with Phaedra coming back, I do feel like it would add some extra flair to the dynamic because at a certain point in time, it's gonna need to be a situation where Kandi and Phaedra need to learn how to interact with each other at some point in time. That's just basically the bottom line. Or it's gonna be time for Kandi to go. Now, y'all know I do love me some Kandi. I do. I love her because of her story. I feel like she has a built-in storyline with her family. I feel like she has a built-in storyline with her blended family, as well as her restaurants and all of her endeavors. But I also feel like she could do that on her own show as well. Now, I don't know whether or not you guys will watch that, but if you would, comment down below and let me know your comments on that, okay? Now, I see a lot of people saying phony Faye. And yeah, you know, Phaedra had a problem with, I think, being honest and sort of telling the truth about certain things, like that whole baby situation about when the baby was due. Y'all remember that? You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, back in her first season, she had some issues with the truth. You know, where it was, where it went, who it was, and all that good stuff like that. But I do feel like she provided a lot of comedy relief for the show and some really cute reads in her confessionals. But again, what do you guys think? Somebody said that you guys felt like Kandi holds grudges for too long. She does. I feel like Kandi holds real life grudges. And what I mean by that is this. I feel like she holds the grudge the way we would hold a grudge in real life. But in reality television, and I'm just going to tell you this from a production standpoint, from someone who's actually been on reality TV, and from someone who has studied this, at the end of the day, you cannot have someone hold a grudge for that long on a show like this. Why? Because it becomes stale. You know what I'm saying? So the same grudge that you might hold with your girlfriend or one of your friends in real life, you cannot hold that same grudge with the person on a reality television show. Otherwise, you end up with the Mariah and Quad syndrome. And y'all know what that looks like. That looks like a whole decade-long feud that just seems like it's never going to end, and we're all bored with it. We are all bored with that scenario. So what Kandi is going to have to learn how to do is actually bounce back from a lot of these situations a lot faster, because otherwise she runs the risk of becoming boring and stale herself. You know what I'm saying? The other thing that Nene said in her live was basically about the fact that Kandi seems to come for her a lot in her confessionals. And I will be very honest with you guys, Kandi does snap a lot on a lot of people in her confessionals. To me, she's had some of the shadiest confessionals of this season. She's a lot shadier in her confessions than she is in real life. And I don't think that's because she's scared of any of the girls. I just feel like she's just, for some reason, turned into a shade assassin in her confessionals. But you guys can let me know what you think, whether or not you think I'm right or wrong with that situation, because I'm just feeling like Kandi's actually doing some of the most this season in her confessionals, but actually some of the least in terms of the drama on the show. You know what I mean? Well, except for Eva, but we all know the situation with Eva. And I'm going to sort of give her a pass because she's pregnant. But I'm going to tell you one thing. If they invite her back next season, I'm going to need to see a whole lot more of her. The next thing that I do want to tell you guys is I wanted to get you guys' opinion on something. I'm going to do a video on Love and Hip Hop, but I want to know, are you guys interested in hearing news related to that show? And are you guys interested in hearing reviews about Love and Hip Hop? I personally I'm interested in seeing what Atlanta is going to be bringing this season. And I really would like to know if you guys want to hear more about it. When I did the poll last time, you guys said that you were. The other thing that I want to know is, have you guys, there's a channel that I watch a lot. They do watch alongs. So basically they watch the show live together. So the person who is commentating is watching it live, but the viewers are also watching it live as well. So we may do something like that as well. Since we have a lot of time on our hands, and since we're all going to be inside for just, a little while, I feel like let's make the most out of this and let's actually have some fun and maybe do some type of watch alongs as well. I think that might be really cool. And it's looking like people are really saying that you guys want to see Love and Hip Hop content. And so we will definitely bring you that on this channel beginning tomorrow. I just hadn't had time to watch the episode because I had to run around and get a bunch of supplies today, but I will be watching the episode so that I can bring you guys commentary on it and we can discuss it together just like we always do. I see some people in the chat are saying replace Eva with Tamar Braxton. Well, listen, to be truthful, Tamar did speak about that in her live that she did last week, where she was talking about her new shows. And something that she said was very interesting. She felt like she wouldn't really have a place on that show. She does have relationships with the cast members, and I do feel like I didn't understand why she said she felt like she wouldn't have a place on that show, because I honestly felt like she would have the best position on that show. She's actually friends with a lot of these ladies. She actually has organic relationships. And that is one of the key things that people look for when they are trying to cast for a lot of these shows, which is probably the reason why Claudia Jordan didn't actually get cast on the Dallas cast of the Real Housewives. Because typically they look for people who have an organic relationship with the women who are already on the show. And I just don't see Claudia having that relationship with a lot of those women. And that's no shade to Claudia, but I just don't see them running in the same circles, because Claudia is more entrenched in the entertainment world, and those ladies are more entrenched in the society of Dallas, which is a whole different section of people in and of itself. So that's no shade to her, but I just don't see her fitting on that show, as we did talk about earlier in today's video. I see a lot of people saying bring Phony Faye back. I see some people saying no Tamar and no Phaedra. You're good. Phaedra will read Kandi and Kenya. Phaedra and I think that's what I really liked is that it wasn't just Nene doing the reading of Kenya, it was also Phaedra doing the reading of Kenya. And don't get me wrong, it's not that I dislike Kenya at all. I dislike some of the things that she does. Y'all know I feel like Kenya is a beautiful woman, and I feel like she's a beautiful baby, and I feel like there's so many different ways that she can go storyline wise, especially with her divorce from Mark coming up. But I do feel like, you know, some of the things that she has done with regards to the Tanya situation, I felt like that was low down and dirty. Did not like that at all. And I don't like the things that she continues to do to Cynthia. But here's the thing about Cynthia. A person can only do to you what you let them. And Cynthia continues to allow people to use her as a doormat. And until she gets the backbone that she so rightly needs, she is going to continue to be mistreated by some of the women on the show who have more dominant personalities, because that is her biggest problem. She has a more submissive personality, which does not necessarily work for her in this situation because people keep running over her. So much so that she doesn't even realize when she's being run over, or she can't even comprehend it enough. It had to be Porsha and Tanya who had to tell her, girl, this is wrong. And then she started to realize that her own feelings were hurt. That's a problem for a grown woman in her 50s not to realize that. That's a big problem. Like, I could go on and on about that, but I don't understand it. And I feel like many of you don't either. You know what I'm saying? But I tell you one thing, Phaedra won't do that. Tamar Braxton will not do that. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like you need more dominant personalities on this show. And while I feel like Eva is beautiful, I feel like she's sexy, she's sassy, I don't feel like she has that dominant personality to really bring it the way that I feel like a lot of you guys need for it to be brought on a show like this. That's just the God's honest truth. That's the reason why the Real Housewives of New York does so well with its demographic, is because you have a cast filled with powerhouse women, and there's not a single wallflower in the bunch. And I feel like for some reason on this particular show, Cynthia, beautiful woman, but I feel like she continues to be a wallflower. Now, it does make for a good storyline in terms of the way that some of these people want to either have her in their life or not have her in. That's confusing to me. But at the end of the day, the way they are mistreating her, it does make her seem weak. I hate to say that, but I feel like that's the God honest truth. That's the truth. Okay, do we have any more questions or any major thoughts about anything that I just talked about? I know I went on a rant, y'all. I really did. I went on a rant. I don't apologize for it, but I like to give you guys the real on how I feel, and I want the real on how you feel. Even if you disagree with me, I welcome it. And a lot of you guys know how to disagree in a very positive and productive way. And I feel like that's why I wanted to do this channel. That's why I started this, because I want to know people's opinions who are like mine and who are not like mine about the subjects that we like to talk about, okay? So I will say that starting tomorrow, we're going to be doing love and hip hop content as well. When I can and when I figure out the best way to do watch-alongs, we're going to be doing that type of content as well. I did speak to Quentin, aka Funky Dineva, today. We're going to try to figure out a way to do some things together as well to keep the good content coming. You know what I'm saying? Whatever we can do, if you guys have ideas, I want to do things where you guys can actually call in as well, and we can actually really chit-chat and get into some things if you guys would like that sort of thing as well too. With that being said, guys, last thing, and this is for the people who were really asking about the IULs. I've gotten several emails about this whole situation. IULs is basically something that I was talking about earlier in today's video. I will be responding to all of those emails. I will also be responding to people's text messages as much as I can over the next couple of days. I know that you guys were really wanting those, so I will be getting back to you guys on that. Information on the tea, guys, it will basically be in the link in the description. If you want to become a distributor as well, it's free for the next 2 days. You guys can just join, and they pay out every week, so it's an awesome thing as well. So if you guys have questions about that, email me or shoot me a text message. I will be responding to everybody, okay? Now, with that being said, I need to jump off of here. I need to eat some dinner. I need to find some stories for y'all for tomorrow. The work never stops, so I just wanted to stop in tonight and tell you guys, there are rumors that Sheree could be returning next season. Well, now that would be interesting. That would be really, really interesting. I would be very, very interested in seeing that play out along with Miss Phaedra Parks returning. But I'm going to tell you guys, I feel like they need some fresh blood. I feel like they need a new Atlanta lady to really set things off. They need somebody that's gonna get this thing started. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like we need somebody new. We're going to need somebody new. We need a fresh face. I love Tanya. I love Marlo. They can stay friends if they want to, but we need a fresh face. That means somebody probably going to have to go. And I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. It definitely ain't gonna be Cynthia, because she's gonna get married on this show. She's gonna get married on this show. 10, 10, 20. I guarantee you they're gonna be in there. They're gonna need somebody new. A lot of y'all saying Eva can go. Sheree needs to be on Love After Lockup. Is Sheree still with that man? Does anybody know that? She was with that man Tyrone, and he was away. Okay, he was away. I'm trying to figure it out. Eva needs to go if she's not pregnant next time. We're getting a lot of Evas should go. A lot of Evas should go. Oh, Tyrone is still on vacation. Bring Lisa Ray. Now, Lisa Ray would be somebody that would be very good. Is she in Atlanta, though? Where is she at, though? If Apollo can't come, I don't want Phaedra. Ah! Y'all are silly. I like Eva, too. Don't get me wrong. I like Eva, but she's just not really bringing it in terms of the drama or anything like that with this particular show. She should, you know what she should do? She should join Top Model as a judge. Do I think Dennis should come to the reunion? Yes. Somebody said add Apollo's wife. Now that would be interesting. Let's see. Tamar could replace Eva. Kiki Wyatt. Kiki Wyatt would be actually very fascinating, because she has all them kids. That's a ready-made storyline right there. And she is not, okay, don't take this the wrong way, but what I want to say is that she's not so overly self-aware. Meaning that in order to do a reality show, I'm going to tell you guys the truth. There is something that you have to do with yourself that most people cannot do. Most people cannot let themselves go enough to be themselves on reality television, which is why a lot of times a housewife won't work, right? And what I mean by that is, if you guys remember R&B Divas, Kiki Wyatt was very emotional, she was very reactionary, and that is the type of person that you want on a reality show in order to make it well. And I will tell you guys the truth. There are two, typically, when people are casting for reality shows, if they're really good, they're casting for two types of people, or three. One is the instigator. That is going to be somebody like your Kenya Moores. This is going to be the person that will get a story going, that will push the narrative. That was like a Tamara Judge. You know what I'm saying? The problem with the instigator is that the instigator typically becomes, somebody says Omarosa. Here for that. I will be here for that. The instigator is a Kenya Moore type person who has to push the buttons in order to make the drama happen, right? Then you have somebody like who is a reactor. Nene is a reactor. She's not gonna, the producers aren't probably gonna be able to push her around and move any buttons with her. They're not gonna be able to tell her, hey, say this or say that, get this storyline going. But the great thing about the person that reacts is they give you amazing reactions. They are emotional. They are just over the top with how they feel. Now, the third person is someone who has an interesting and dynamic life. Now, that is somebody that is going to be your Kandi. That person is going to reside right in the middle, and they're likely going to be very reactionary as well. And Kandi is a very reactionary person. She is not going to be the type of person in general to start much. Although this season, she has been playing more of the instigator role, meaning she's doing things to push the storyline forward. What do I mean by that? She's telling the secrets. She's spilling the beans. She's doing this, that, and the third. Those are the people that are doing the instigator. Kenya is instigating. She's bringing the cookie lady. She's dangling the infidelity in front of Tanya and the rest of the crew to get the storyline jumping. You know what I'm saying? She's doing those types of things to incite a level of drama. You have Nene. Nene is reacting. Nene is basically, she even stated in her live how the reason why she reacted to Kenya that night was because she had been drinking. So obviously she's a reactionary person. She went into this situation at the request of Cynthia, trying to be friends with, trying to make amends with Kenya. But when Kenya stonewalled her, likely an instigation tactic, because she knew at some point Nene would react. If you watch, when Nene does react, Kenya is basically sitting there calm as a cucumber, okay? But Nene is like, at that point, she's had some drinks in her, so now she's really gonna give the reaction. So you guys have to, when you watch these shows, right? I want you guys to watch sometimes with a producer's hat on. Who is making the drama go around? Who is reacting the most? Who is not giving me anything? And who is the person whose actual life they really focus on a lot? Those three people are this. Kenya is an instigator. Kandi is the person whose life they really focus on. And Cynthia is this season because it's interesting. It's new season. It just depends on the season. So you just got to kind of watch her. And Eva hasn't really found a place in that circle yet because she's neither reactionary nor is she an instigator. And they don't even feel like her life is that interesting enough for them to actually film it. Okay? And I'm just giving you guys the bottom line. Boom. You got it. Chandra. Porsha is the comic relief. That is the fourth element right there. Comic relief. Look at every Real Housewives franchise. Look at every show across the franchise, and I guarantee you will find those 3 to 4 characters across the franchise. Chandra, you hit the nail right on the head. Okay, you hit the nail right on the head. All right. I done gone way past my time. I was like, I'm gonna get on here for like 10 minutes and tell y'all the story. But thank you guys so much for tuning into the channel. Listen, I'm gonna bring y'all some more news tomorrow. The stories I'm already gathering. I'm preparing for Love and Hip Hop tomorrow. It's gonna be a crazy day. We got lots of stuff that we're gonna be doing. We will never be bored during this period of time. We're gonna keep it popping over here. And I just want to say thank you guys. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, now is your opportunity to do so. Go ahead and join Sky Squad. Shoot me a text message. I'm trying to respond to everybody as much as I possibly can, especially during this time when we're all kind of like, you know what I'm saying? And I will see you guys in the next video. I love y'all.